What's going on, everybody? It's Steve with I Love Plants. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. I am surrounded by some philodendrons that actually look the same, and I'm going to be discussing a little bit about them, some of my care tips and tricks that help these plants thrive. I mean, I love philodendrons. You guys must know that by now. And these are some of my favorite philodendrons that I have in my collection, and they look similar. You know, I can't help myself. When I see these plants in plant nurseries, it's like, oh, but you got one that looks just like it. Yeah, who cares? All right, I'll find space. I'll make space for them. Okay, so this one is getting so big, and I know it's probably blocking the view just a little bit, but I'm going to talk about each one that I have. I have 4 similar ones that kind of favor each other, and we're going to go over a couple of the differences. Of course, comment, let me know what you think. Which one would you personally get? Is it a want? Is it a need? Because one of these plants was actually a need, and I bought it a couple of months ago, and this thing is growing beyond. So I gotta really figure out if it's gonna kick me out of this house and make me get a 6,000 square foot house, which I should have anyway, but about a 3,000 square foot greenhouse in the back. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, comment, like, subscribe. By the way, let me just say this. 2,000 subscribers, y'all. Come on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to what I'm saying. You know, it just means a lot. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going. So you guys, if you have any friends and family who like plants, who are interested in getting plants, I mean, we're going to be on this journey together. All right? So stay tuned. I'm going to talk about some philodendrons that look similar and my care tips for them all. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon. All right, everybody. So what I have in front of me right here is my Philodendron Sun Red or Red Sun. The name is interchangeable if you see them in stores. This is my smallest philodendron of this kind. This plant here, I probably purchased this plant, I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago. It's definitely over the summer. I was at Plant Keeper here in Dallas, Texas, and I said, okay, well, I gotta come home with something. So what's it gonna be? And of course, what did I say when I see plants that look like this? I gotta get it. So this was the one that I went home with. This one here, geez, this is not a self-heading philodendron here, okay? This one actually would do good climbing up a pole, all right? So if you could tell here with how this stem is, and I'll do close-ups, okay? You know, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna do some close-up, you guys. But this stem actually wants to climb up. It's really, really similar to a plant that I'm going to show you in a little bit called the McColley Finale, which actually shares almost the same kind of leaf structure as this plant here. The Red Sun, by the way, this is Scarlet Witch. The Red Sun, the leaves, when they first unfurl, are just a very, very bright red. They're actually really, really beautiful, and they're very round too. Okay, so that's how you can sort of like tell the difference between this plant here and let's say McColley's Finale. The leaves, when they fully mature, are just a really, really dark green. They don't get rust, like a rust color like my McColley's Finale at all. This plant stays a solid green color once the leaves mature. And in terms of watering and light, this is, and with all with all philodendrons, they require bright and direct light. I don't have it in direct sun at all. Don't want to risk scorching the leaves or anything like that. And when it comes to watering, probably and I guess this time of year, maybe every 8 days or so. You know, again, this is one of those plants where you stick your finger in the soil, and I wait until my soil is about maybe, let's say about 50% dry. Okay, so if it's 50% dry, I'm actually giving it a drink, and it's doing pretty good. What ends up happening with this plant is that if you underwater it, the leaves are going to start crisping up. And you know, there was a time where I wasn't watering this thing as frequent as I should. I had some breakage of the leaves, and you know, it looked a little like this leaf right here. it was hurting a little bit, but they recover so fast. They're resilient, they're very forgiving, and it's an easy plant to take care of. I usually say philodendrons and pothos are very, very easy plants to take care of. This is a Sun Red. The price point is really, really good. So you can probably find one of these plants for about 20 bucks. And they grow up. So, you know, pretty soon I'll probably stake this on a moss pole or a stake and have it grow up similar to my finale that you'll see next. All right, but what do you think about this Sun Red? This is the Scarlet Witch, all right? And one of my favorite plants here, and I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is my McColley's Finale here. Okay, so this is Kevin McAllister, and this was the first Philodendron McColley that I bought. And so this McColley Finale is so different than the regular McColley. I didn't know that. I went to a plant store out in East Dallas called Peter's Planters, and I was just like, how come their McColley doesn't look like my McColley? And because their McColley looks different from my McColley, I'm gonna have to buy their McColley, right? But it's a different plant entirely. It's a different sort of like variant of the plant. The difference between the McColley's Finale, which is what you see here, and the McColley, which is what I'm about to show you in a little bit, is when these leaves grow, when they unfurl, they are like maroon. They're like the color of this shirt. That's why I wore it, because I wanted to match Kevin here, all right? And one thing about this plant here, can you see how shiny these leaves are? This is literally without any help. These leaves stay shiny. It's like they repel dust. I just don't get it. These leaves stay shiny. They stay brilliant. And it's just a beautiful plant. It's very, very, very stunning. And I remember my friend Janae, she was here a couple of weeks ago watering my plants. And when she saw this plant, she was like, Steve, you might not have it when you get back from your trip. Okay, but luckily she's not that kind of person. That's my girl. I love her so much, and she took care of all my plants while I was away, and I'm fortunate because look how beautiful this plant remained, okay? Now, this is a climber. As you can see, I have it growing up a wooden stick because it's going to grow up. It's not a self-heading plant. It's actually going to grow up this pole, this stick right here, and I'm going to switch it out eventually, but I just wanted to stake it up on something because otherwise it's going to be hanging and drooping and not doing what it actually wants to do in the wild, okay? But in terms of watering, again, this is another plant that probably gets watered in this house every 8 to 14 days here. Again, you know, you just want to judge how the soil feels. The soil is actually a very, very chunky mix. It's not dense or anything like that, so water actually really goes through this thing. And I love this plant. This is one of my first McColleys that I bought, and it's fantastic. Lighting, I actually keep this plant under a grow light, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because as it's growing up, I've noticed that the leaves are not as big as what they were on the bottom. Part of that is because when I bought this plant, it was in a greenhouse. I don't have greenhouse conditions at my place, but I'm gonna try to create them. So part of that is giving it adequate light. So I have it underneath a grow light. And the other part is making sure that it's in a humid environment. This plant thrives off of being in a humid environment. So I have it by a humidifier, just so that I can see if these leaves upsize. And that's what I'm hoping that they do. So I'll keep you posted with Kevin. Another one of my philodendrons that look really, really similar to each other. This is my Philodendron McColley's Finale. What do you think? You like this? Is this a want or a need? Let me know. Let me know. This is a need, obviously, for me. All right, you guys, so this is my Philodendron McColley. So what you just saw was the McColley Finale. This is the McColley. This is the regular McColley. This plant here is Mama McColley, because when I first did a video on this plant, the closed captioning, maybe it's my accent. I know I have a heavy New York accent, but it kept picking up me saying my McColley when I was saying my McColley. So my McColley is this plant right here, my McColley, and she is a Philodendron McColley, all right? The difference between this philodendron and the McColley's Finale is size of the leaf. I think I failed to mention with the McColley's Finale that you're gonna get some browning on the tips, some like rusting. It looks like, it's so cool. It looks like a dark rust brown sort of like color on the leaves. This one doesn't do that. This one stays pretty green at the edges, but when the leaves first come out, they look copper almost. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it gives a copper color to the leaf when they first unfurl, and it is such a beautiful plant. This plant is self-heading, so it's not like this plant grows up anything. It actually just sprouts up new leaves from the base of the root system here, from the base of the stem system, and it's beautiful. This plant is beautiful. It is going to grow humongous, you guys. Like, it's going to be super duper wide, and I'm scared because I'm just like, where the hell am I going to put it? But I'll figure it out. In terms of watering, because of the size of the plant, because of how many leaves it has, because of the stems, how many stems, and this plant gets water at least once a week from me. You know, again, this is a plant that actually, it's as big as it is, it's sucking up water like crazy. And, you know, I can stick my finger in and see if it's dry. Oh yeah, it's dry. So this one definitely gets water from me about every 7 days. And again, with me, I can just feel the leaf if it needs water. If it feels kind of wilted and dehydrated, I'm gonna give it a drink, but I kind of got this one scheduled down. In terms of light, I mean, this is bright indirect light for this one here, so it's facing my east facing window. It gets bright indirect light, and it is by a humidifier, so it does get probably about 55-60% humidity in the area that it's in, and I love it. What do you think? So this was a need for me, okay? What is it for you? Want, need, indifferent? What do you think? I like it. I love it. I'm McColley. Philodendron McColley. All right, you guys, I'm gonna finish off with one of the plants that I was holding earlier. In the intro to this video, this is my Philodendron Prince of Orange. This is cherry wine. This was one of the first plants that I ever showcased in the video, I believe. Like, had its own individual short, and I got a great response off of cherry wine. Now, I'm gonna say this, I just repotted cherry wine recently, about maybe 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, and she's getting wide, y'all. This is another one, just like my McColley, that's gonna get wide. It's a self-heading philodendron. It's gonna get wide, and it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good. So, in terms of watering, another one that I water probably every 7 to 12 days. If I don't water it, the leaves start to, you know, crunch in, which is what it's doing. I actually just watered it, and I actually kind of disappointed this plant at one point because I was waiting for my pots to come, and it didn't come in time. This guy was shriveling up because I was like, I'm not gonna water this plant if I'm gonna repot it during the middle of the week. Waited on the pots, leaves started to shrivel up. I thought that I was slowly killing this plant right here. Fortunately, it bounced back. It bounced right back, but I'm still having a little bit of issues. It's almost like it has memory of when I mistreated it due to Amazon being a little bit delayed on package deliveries. But still resilient, still a beautiful plant, still gives me new growth. Like these top leaves here, they are a bright red, turns maroon, then turns green. It is such a beautiful plant. It is the centerpiece in my living room. It's everything to me. talked about water, 7 to 10 days, maybe about that, no more than that. In terms of watering, it doesn't get that much humidity as my other philodendrons because it is in my living room and I am not sweating here while I'm watching the Food Network or whatever I'm watching. Not gonna happen. So it's not in the plant room or anything like that. So it gets normal humidity and it still thrives off of that. But what it does get is bright, indirect light from an east facing window, and it gets a lot of it in the morning. So I'm telling you that I believe it loves it. I ain't hearing anything back from this plant in terms of it not liking it. The leaves are standing up straight, they're erect, they're not drooping or anything like that. So the response is good, you guys. And this is my Philodendron Prince of Orange Cherry Wine. Is this a want or a need? Or do you already have it in your collection? Or are you indifferent to it? Do you not care for it? Let me know in the comments below. And you guys, thank you for watching my video today. I really appreciate that. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers who, decided that this channel was worth the push. I really, really appreciate that. And you guys, please, please, please stay tuned for more content, So I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with this because I get some great feedback from you guys. You guys, I know that you don't have to be so nice. You know what I mean? But you are. And I appreciate every kind word that you give me on this channel. I do read them and it means a lot to me. And I will see you on the next one. So if you're not doing this already, because we started 2025, you better be loving yourself. If you're not doing that, then you better start, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more in future videos, and we'll crack open some eggs next time. How about that? All right. I'll talk to you soon. Love y'all. Take care.